On pages 5 through 8 in your equation packet, you will be solving multi-step equations. We're going to start with the first question on page 5. You'll want to draw your train tracks, and then the first thing that you're going to want to do is to simplify it by combining like terms. Notice there are two x terms on the same side of the equal sign, so we're going to go ahead and combine those. The 7x and the positive 6x, when you put those together, you will get 13x plus 2 equals 30. So our first step is to just simplify by combining like terms. Now it looks like an equation from page 2. To get the x alone, we're going to get rid of the plus 2 by subtracting 2 from both sides. Remember, only do one step at a time. This will disappear because 2 and a negative 2 when put together is 0. 13x equals 28. And now you would want to get a single x, you would want to divide by 13. Now if you take 28 and divide it by 13, it ends up being 2.1538, and we have more and more numbers, so it's about 2.2, or we can leave it as a fraction, which will give us the exact answer instead of an estimate. 13 goes into 28 two times, which brings us to 26, which means we have 2 left over. So 2 and 2/13 is the exact answer for that problem. All right, let's move on to page 6, question number 1. On this page, you will simplify in your first step by using the distributive property. So over here, we're going to take 3 times 2x to get 6x, and then 3 times positive 5 to get 15, and it's positive, so we're going to put plus 15 equals 39. Now to get the 6x by itself, we're going to get rid of the plus 15 by subtracting 15. 39, take away 15 is 24. And on this side, this will become 0. So 6x equals 24. Divide both sides by 6, and x equals 4. Remember, you can always check your work by plugging your answer back into the problem. If I put a 4 in for x, 2 times 4 is 8. 8 plus 5 is 13, and 13 times 3 is 39. All right, let's move on to page 7. Draw your train tracks. What's different about page 7 is instead of having two x terms on the same side of the equal sign, they're on opposite sides. So whenever I have a variable on both sides, I start out by getting rid of one of them. I can choose to either get rid of the 4x by subtracting 4x from both sides, or I could get rid of the 2x by subtracting 2x from both sides. I'm going to go with subtracting 2x from both sides. Notice when I write the minus 2x, I'm going to put it under the x term, not the constant term. 4x minus 2x is 2x, and then plus 4 is still over here. And on the other side, 2x minus 2x is 0, so that's going to disappear, and we're left with a positive 10. Now it looks again just like those equations from page 2. To get x alone, I'm going to get rid of the plus 4 by subtracting 4 from both sides. That's going to become 0, so we end up with 2x equals 6. Now to get just 1x, we're going to divide by 2. So 1x is equal to 3. This time, if you wanted to check your work, you'd have to plug it in on this side and plug it in on this side and see that the two sides of the equal sign match. All right? And then on to page 8, it's going to just put everything together. You're going to have distributive property and variables on both sides. Let's go ahead and start by using the distributive property. 4 times 5x is 20x. 4 times a negative 7 is negative 28, so I'm going to write minus 28, equals 10x plus 2. After that first step, now this equation looks just like page 7. We have a variable on both sides, so we could either get rid of the 20x or the 10x. I'm going to get rid of the 10x by subtracting 10x from both sides. When I subtract 10x from this side, I'm going to subtract it from the x term. 20x minus 10x is 10x. Minus 28 equals 2, because that's going to disappear. Now to get the x alone, we're going to get rid of the minus 28 by adding 28 to both sides. So 10x equals 30. Now divide both sides by 10. X equals 3 is your final answer. Again, you can check your work by plugging that back in for x, and the two sides should equal each other.